Hi, welcome to our Sports Picks. I'm Peter Loshak. Today's Friday, July 29th. We are talking the main card of UFC 201 right now with Nick Kalikas from MMAOddsBreaker.com. We've analyzed the entire main card. Now we're just going to take a look at props. It's Friday. Some props are already out for tomorrow's card on 5 dimes. There's some interesting stuff here. A lot of times, prop betting can be the absolute best way to bet MMA. That's for sure. Nick Kalikas, I'm trying to think about what would be my favorite prop bet here. I'm thinking maybe, I already said that my favorite bet on the main card, aside from the main event, would be Ellenberger and Brown at over 1.5 rounds plus 105. Now, I know that Ellenberger, might fade in the third round and just get finished one way or another. But if that doesn't happen, Brown by decision at plus 430. That's tempting to me. What do you think, Nick?
Brown by decision at plus 430. I kind of don't like it.
Why not?
Because if it goes that long, I think that there's a shot that maybe Ellenberger steals 2 rounds.
Right.
You know what I mean? With his wrestling. So, yeah, I don't know if I'd go Brown by decision. I mean, he could win the decision there as well, because I think it's more Brown. If Brown wins, it's probably going to be inside, and I think that's what most people are thinking as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they probably get it if that's the case. If not, then I think Ellenberger's going to win if he hits the scorecards, probably.
Okay, well, Brown inside the distance is minus 160, so maybe that's a better bet than Brown just to win in any way, minus 270.
Yeah. If you're going to take Brown, take him inside the distance. I would not. Yeah, I wouldn't fiddle with the card, and I wouldn't lay like almost 3-1 here either. So yeah, I would definitely go. If you're going to take Brown, go minus 160 with Brown. I think it's fair to say. Or maybe on the other end of it, the extreme end, put something small on Ellenberger by decision, which is not going to be a popular thing out there amongst bettors at all. But I do think that you're going to probably get some value there, because the line should definitely not be as high as it is right now.
Okay, so, and then you said that you were agreeing with me that you like the under 1.5 rounds at plus 185 in Rivera and Perez. So maybe a knockout prop with one of those guys, or just inside the distance with one of those guys, would have even more value. Would you agree with that, or would you hold off on that?
I do. I think that inside the distance, it's tough with Perez, because I do think he's going to win the fight, as I said. And again, the sharp action kind of agreed with it too, which I mentioned I was a little disappointed with that. But with that being said, if Perez wins a fight, it's going to probably be inside. And I think it's hard to determine whether it's going to be knockout or sub, because he can do them both. So, you might get burned on it was not too long ago. What fight was it? Oh, the Jim Miller versus Gomi fight. In that spot, we gave out a bet on our website that Jim Miller wins. It was a free play. Jim Miller wins by sub, right? And that was a path of victory that we thought was going to be realistic. Jim Miller got him down. I'm just using this as an example right here, because all sorts of craziness can go down. Jim Miller got Gomi's back, got him down, started looking for the sub. Almost had it in there. He kind of gave up on the sub. He could have finished the fight by sub. He kind of gave up on it because he kind of looked down and he saw that he was in such a superior position that all he had to do is start raining down punches and win the fight. So he went from actually having his arm around his neck to winning by sub, that close to saying, you know what, heck with it. I'm just going to punch this guy till the ref stops it. And he won by TKO stoppage. So that's what's dangerous in this spot. If Perez gets position on him, he could win by sub, and he's probably going to go after it. But then again, sometimes if you take a step back and look and you got dominant position, I mean, the referees are stopping these fights sometimes when a guy's not defending themselves obviously that well. So all you have to do is drop some bombs. So it's a little risky, because you could be on your way to winning, and then all of a sudden, you get stopped another way. So I think for Perez, it's safer to just go inside. So either if it's sub or KO, then you're safe. You know what I mean? It's going to be that way. So I do think Perez wins, and he probably wins inside. So that's the best way to go there.
All right. And so you would prefer, because Rivera right now is plus 155 to win inside the distance. Rivera is plus 300. But if you had to pick one of these guys to win inside the distance, you'd rather take Perez?
Yeah, I would, honestly. I just think, again, he's got more ways to finish it. I don't think Rivera's going to sub Perez. I mean, it could happen. I don't think it happens. It's basically, if you're going to take Rivera, you take him by KO. That's the way he's going to probably win that fight.
All right, and then with Woodley Lawler, is there any prop bet that you think you might recommend as a better way to bet that fight? Because we kind of agreed that both the side and the total are pretty dead on as the odds stand right now on Friday.
Maybe Woodley inside because of all the punishment that we were just talking about or by KO. You could go a little bit more specific here, because I doubt that Woodley subs Lawler. So it's more so than anything, it's going to probably be that KO when he wins. So maybe Woodley by KO. It could have some value still. I know the line's dropped drastically, so the prop has probably come down some as well, obviously. But I still think that's the way to go, because, again, I think Lawler is eventually going to get caught. And again, it's a guy with huge power like that. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to weather that storm and bounce back and recover as quickly as he does. So, and that fight, it would either be taking a shot at Lawler inside, or I think would be a shot at Woodley inside or by KO, like I just said. So I prefer to go with Woodley, I think, by KO.
All right. Nick Kalikas from MMAOddsBreaker.com. Thanks so much for being our guest this week, as always.
Thank you.
Always on the go? Bet365 has one of the top mobile platforms in today's market. Sign up today and don't let your busy life keep you out of the game.